Recently, there's been an increase in server-related issues for Foxhole. Between random disconnects for individual players and full-on hex shutdowns, not to mention full operation killing disconnects for large groups of players moving between those hexes, the server issues have become a growing issue talked about within the Foxhole player base. The issue has become so prevalent that the devs themselves addressed it on the Foxhole official Discord and implemented some changes to help track and mitigate the disconnect issues. But what's causing these network issues? And is Steam fully to blame? Can the devs really fix the problem, or is there something bigger that isn't being addressed? We're going to try and answer these questions, and I'll give you my take at the end of the video on what a solution might look like for these disconnect issues. By the way, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you liked the video. Also, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. I really want to hear what your guys' opinions are on the network issues and possible solutions as well. And with that, let's get right into the video. Before we go any further, we need to cover some important background info first to help us better understand why these network errors occur and why caps exist for the different hexes in Foxhole. Foxhole was created to run on the Unreal Engine. This particular engine is popular and common among different genres of games such as RTS games, isometric RPGs, and more commonly FPS games. We're going to dive deeper into the engine's limitations later on in the video, which will highlight why these network issues may not be fixable. After the launch of the naval update, server disconnects and full hex crashes have started to rise. The reason can be attributed to a few different causes. One common reason would be the large influx of new players putting strain on the network capabilities of Foxhole. This is the reason each update war has a new shard opened to help with the network performance and allow as many players as possible to play the game. However, after one or two wars, this player count gradually drops to the point where only able shard remains once again. So what's causing the server instability and disconnects at that point? With the new update came new large ships, where dozens of players will need to work together in order to crew them. These large ships would also have their own type of queue system, allowing for folks to quote-unquote easily transition between hexes. However, we've seen both factions lose crew members when crossing into hexes and sometimes entire ships getting disconnected. On a few occasions, this has also spread to other smaller craft like barges or gunboats that try to get into hexes after a battleship attempts to cross. But are the disconnects caused by a combination of coding and large players all trying to get into a single hex at the same time? Another and final example that could cause the kind of network instability we're seeing in Foxhole is Steam itself. The devs have pointed to Steam service outages as a main culprit for server instability, but is that actually true? Yes and no, and at this point we're going to talk about the main reason we're seeing network issues in-game. Let me ask you guys something. What do games like EVE Online, RuneScape, and Guild Wars 2 have in common? Aside from them all being MMOs, they have their own proprietary game engine. For EVE Online, it's the Carbon game engine, for RuneScape it's RuneTech, and for Guild Wars 2 it's their Havoc engine. The reason why each one of these games has their own proprietary game engine is specifically because it adheres to the vision of their game. EVE Online can easily host 30,000 users on one server shard. RuneScape allows for 2,000 players per server, and there are hundreds of servers. Guild Wars 2 is more in line with Foxhole with a max player count of about 1,200 players for their world versus world battle mode, which pits 3 different servers against each other on a semi-persistent battlefield. There's obviously other differences between these games, but the highlight here is that the bedrock and foundation of a game, i.e. its engine, sets the capabilities for the game itself. If a quote-unquote stock game engine, like Unity or Godot, or even Unreal Engine, has network capabilities, then games developed in those engines would have that option available to them. However, custom game engines, although more expensive and time-consuming to make, give developers an easier framework to scale up and develop the network capabilities of their game. Like I pointed out previously, Foxhole runs on Unreal Engine 4 and doesn't benefit from its own proprietary engine. While Unreal Engine is a cheaper solution for game development versus building their own proprietary engine, technical issues will be common if the vision of the dev team clashes with the capability of the engine itself. This clash is what we're seeing now with the implementation of the naval update, and I believe it's the main cause for so many disconnect and server-related issues within the game. So the developers themselves are well aware of the network issues affecting Foxhole. They made a few different posts highlighting the team's shift in prioritization to address the issue and offer solutions. This came in the form of hotfix 1.55.3.3 on February 16th, which added some diagnostic tools for the team to mitigate Steam connection anomalies. The team would also work on additional changes in Update 56 to make the servers more durable against these Steam connection issues. One post I want to point out is their initial remarks regarding network instability back on January 29th, which reads, "Over the last few months, we have been tracking an increase in connection issues related to Steam. Some of these incidents have been related to higher than usual Steam service outages, but in other cases seems to be a separate problem entirely. Our team has been closely investigating this anomaly and have tracked it down to an unexpected adjustment in Steam's networking infrastructure that impacts games with a high number of players per server. Due to the intermittent and unpredictable nature of this problem, diagnosing the cause has been challenging. We've been dedicating a portion of Update 56 development to redesign parts of our system to be more durable against these adjustments when they occur. Until Update 56 is released, we will be looking for other ways to mitigate this issue best we can. Once again, we appreciate the patience on this matter and hope we can resolve things soon. So the team is aware that the issue is beyond just Steam's service outages and are hoping to have a fix out with the release of Update 56. Will this have a tangible impact? In my opinion, probably not, but at the very least, the devs will know more about what systems could be impacting performance within Unreal Engine. To get to the point, folks hoping that Foxhole won't have any network issues, or at the very least, few network-related issues, may be disappointed with Update 56. The inherent problem is the game engine itself trying to meet the demands and vision of the development team. But don't give up all hope, because there can still be a possible solution in the distant future. Anvil Empires is currently in development and is utilizing Siege Camp's proprietary R2 engine. On the Anvil Empires website, the team says they aim to put 1,000 players into a dense battlefield in a persistent online world. Whether or not that battlefield equals a hex or just a portion of the map is yet to be seen, but it's a step in the right direction from where Foxhole is currently at. What this shows is that Siege Camp is well aware of the limitations Unreal Engine provides Foxhole and hopes to learn from those lessons as they develop their new game. If the dev team is successful with Anvil Empires and the R2 engine performs as promised, we could potentially see a port or rework of Foxhole in the same R2 engine. At this point, this is complete headcanon, but imagine Anvil Empires and Foxhole being in the same universe. Imagine if in one war you're fighting in the medieval world of Anvil Empires and one faction wins. A few days later, we get a new war, and time has moved forward considerably. Now we're fighting in the world of Foxhole, but still in that R2 engine. I could totally see Siege Camp developing these games in a way where it's the same in-game universe, but two distinctly different games with their own mechanics. But getting back to reality, the future of Foxhole really does walk in lockstep with Anvil Empires. Players have speculated about what a Foxhole 2 would look like, and I believe we could see it built within the R2 engine. Only time will tell what's in store for Foxhole, but I look forward to seeing these issues resolved and players battling it out with minimal interruptions. And that's all I have for you guys, but what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on the state of Foxhole, and do you think the devs will try to port it over to the R2 engine after Anvil's release? Again, if you reached the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Don't forget to leave your ideas in the comment section below. It really does help my channel and tells me what kind of videos you're interested in seeing. While you're there, consider subscribing to the channel if you're interested in seeing more Foxhole related videos. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.
Pull down my britches, he gon' give me a lick. Lollipop gripping on my big black dick. I hop up on his tractor and we roll down the road. When we get back, I'm gonna suck them Way toes. Back in the day, I used to sleep with a farmer, and his name was John Carter.